Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes, sir. You got it. Thank you.
I hereby call this City Council meeting to order. If everybody would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Councilmember Connolly.
Here.
Councilmember King.
Here.
Councilmember Rife.
Here.
Vice Mayor Andrusik.
Here.
And Mayor Sierra.
Here. Thank you very much. Do we have any reordering of the agenda tonight?
No, ma'am.
All righty. Public comments. This is your opportunity to get up and speak for up to 3 minutes on any subject you feel like, whether it's an agenda item or not. I do have one public speaker. If anybody else is interested, now's the time to grab your slip. I have a comment from Mr. Charles Anderson. Charlie?
Greetings.
Charlie.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. I am Charlie Anderson from 538 Thumbling Drive. I'm here to talk about the parking of my trailer on my property. We purchased a 20-foot trailer in 2014. Before we purchased it, we went around to the neighbors to see if there's any trouble parking a trailer on their lot, because they're going to go to the city. And they answered, not far as they know. My wife and I are in the traveling stages, 75 and 80 years old, so better get traveling if you're going to travel on the trailer. So when I heard about the trailer parking rules, we were against that decision because it didn't fit our lot. The way our trailer fits on the lot, we'd have to cut the roof off the one side of the house and the other side, both sides. There's no way you could get the trailer back behind or by the side of the house. So the situation is difficult to make everybody happy. I know that when they're trying to tell people what to do. So it appears that we need to revisit the council ruling and find a way to please more of the people. I know the trailer owners are just a minority of Buellton, but I think we could do better if we looked into it. I was born here in Buellton in 1941, so I've been around here a while. 3 days before Pearl Harbor. I've seen many changes in all these years, and I helped walk the town in 1992 to help us become a city. It was built a trailer, and my lovely wife Shirley and I are board members of the Senior Center, and we also help support the center by working on the 1 day a week at the thrift store. Simply stated, we love our little town. If we revisit this trailer parking decision, I'm sure we can find more answers to please more people. I'm willing to help and find a better solution for the issue of parking.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Charlie.
Charlie?
Yeah.
Charlie?
Yeah.
July 27th.
Madam Mayor, can I ask a question?
It's already scheduled for July 27th to discuss the issues you've brought up.
All right.
May I ask
Save your notes.
Come on back. Is it okay to ask a question during public comment?
Yes, it is.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I ask you a fast question? Will it fit on your driveway without sticking on the sidewalk?
Where it is, yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. I don't have any other speaker slips. Was there Mary? Come on up.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm here to share a good story about a program that the San Ynez Valley Youth Coalition partnered with our public health. And I'm sorry, my name is Mary Conway, and I'm with People Helping People, and I'm the Drug and Alcohol Prevention Director for our Youth Substance Abuse Prevention. So it's really nice because the public health has partnered across the state with alcohol and drug organizations to affect a positive change in our retail environments for our young people. So we were involved in a statewide survey, and we surveyed all the stores here in Buellton and had some local results for our cities and county that came out pretty favorably. But what took place is we ended up being involved in a pilot program, Healthy Stores, Healthy Valley. And what that means is that, I'm staring at that, it's a program that is a pilot program here in the Valley, and they're hoping to start these programs in the rest of the Santa Barbara County. But what we're hoping to do is increase the visibility of healthy foods in our retail stores, healthy foods and beverages, reduce the ease of access and exposure to tobacco, alcohol, and unhealthy snacks and beverages. And then by working with our retailers, then we recognize and give them rewards. We've given them stickers for their office or for their stores, and we've recognized them in the newspaper with free advertising. And so we've built some great relationships with 5 of the stores here in our valley, and 2 of them are in Buellton. So we have Parkway Market that's been a great partner, and El Pueblito, which is also another great partner. And what they've done is they've looked at the environment in their store, and they've looked at the advertising, and if it's, you know, below a certain level for children to see as far as alcohol and drugs, they've moved healthier products closer to the register. They have taken away the alcohol bottles that were close on the counters that young people could snatch. And so the environmental changes that are happening are really a great prevention strategy for our young people, not only in health and wellness, in health and wellness, including healthier food choices, and of course being discouraged to use alcohol and drugs. So we're really pleased with Buellton. I want to bring notice to our 2 shop owners that have really welcomed this program and want to continue with it. And we hope that other stores are going to participate. So the county funds are no longer going to be in our valley. They're going to move on to Lompoc. But our coalition feels that this is a really important project, and we're going to be working with our coalition members and continue to work with the retailers so we can support our young people in healthy choices and a good environment in the stores. So just want to pass these out. It's a little clearer information than I've given you tonight. But you know, I want to thank Buellton because they've been very proactive in looking at the retail climate here, and meeting with Mr. Burdinsky on checking out to make sure the stores all have their e-cigarette products behind the counter, working with our sheriffs to do sting operations so that we can make sure they're not selling. So again, Buellton's been very proactive, and we appreciate the partnership we've had.
Thank you very much, Mary. Thank you. I don't have any other speaker slips. Are there any other people in the audience who would like to speak to council? If not, I am closing public comment and moving on to the consent calendar. We've got 5 items tonight. We have minutes of June 8th, 2017 regular city council meeting, list of claims to be approved and ratified for payment to date for fiscal year 2016-17, revenue and expenditure reports through May 31, 2017, the quarterly report for January 1, 2017 through March 31, 2017 from Visit Santa Barbara Valley, the Visit SYV, and resolution number 17-12, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Buellton, California, deferring additional increases to the monthly water meter service fees and monthly wastewater service fees in the City of Buellton until November 2017. I'd like to pull item 2 real quickly.
Madam Mayor, I would move approval of items 1, 3, 4, and 5.
Second.
Okay, Linda?
All right, Vice Mayor Andrusik.
Aye.
Councilmember Connolly.
Aye.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Councilmember Rife.
Aye.
And Mayor Sierra.
Aye. I just wanted to bring up, I didn't have a chance to talk to our Public Works Director beforehand. Under the list of claims to be approved and ratified, I had spoken to Jeff Edwards, the head of M&S, about the time delay with the bills that are sent to the city for payment and the time that they get paid. And I'm going to move that we approve the list of claims to be approved, but it really bothers me that these are items from April and we're approving them the end of June. And I was told that both M&S and the city would work together to try to speed up the approval system a little bit more. So if there's anything you could do, I would appreciate it, because
We will definitely look into
it
it.
just seems that there's quite a bit of lag time there. With that, I'll move to approve the list of claims to be approved and ratified for payment to date for fiscal year 2016-17.
I'll second.
Alrighty, Linda?
Okay, Mayor Sierra.
Aye.
Councilmember Connolly.
Aye.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Councilmember Rife.
Aye.
And Vice Mayor Andrusik.
Aye.
Thank you. Any presentations tonight?
No, ma'am?
Any public hearings tonight?
No, ma'am?
Council member comments, items, before we get to the item number 6. Is there any comments or items that would like to be discussed about things that are happening in town or things you'd like brought back to council? Councilmember Rife?
No, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Andrusik?
Well, I thought it was going to be the things we did.
Go. Well, we haven't gotten to committee reports yet, but
Well, that wouldn't be committee.
go ahead then.
It was the change of command. You and I attended at Vandenberg. Vandenberg changed commanders on the 9th
Yeah.
of June, and this Sunday they're going to attempt to launch a Falcon 9 rocket,
SpaceX.
SpaceX. They want to fly it up in the air and land it right back where, land the booster right back on the pad. We're going to
And we're going to watch it from watch it from a safe distance?
I hope. But we've
You
got
better,
an umbrella.
because it's autonomous and it's the first one.
It should be. It should be fun.
It's a big
First
deal.
one for Vandenberg.
Vandenberg.
right?
They've done it before.
They've done
Not
it
auto-
two
yeah,
or three.
First autonomous out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, first time here. That's big.
First thing it could happen, it'll land in the ocean.
Okay.
You never know.
Councilmember King, any comments, items?
I do have one item. I have had a constituent ask me if we could look into putting a crosswalk. I have a constituent that has contacted me and asked me if we could look into putting a crosswalk at Avenue of Flags and Damassa. This individual actually has been hit there by a car. So if we can just maybe take a look at that, see what the feasibility is of putting a crosswalk there.
We'll take a look at it.
Oliveras, across where Oliveras is to Damassa.
And as part of the avenue-specific plan, we do have those types of crossings proposed, but we'll look into it at this time, Rose and I, and we'll report back to council.
Yeah, maybe we could expedite that.
Okay. And Councilmember Connolly, any comments, items before we get to your sad farewell?
I'll go ahead and speak at that time.
There we go. I just had a couple comments. People Helping People, Mary and her partner came and spoke to me about the Healthy Stores, Healthy Valley, and I'm hoping that we have a lot of people listening to this council meeting, because I really need people to go out and support Parkway Market and Mi Pueblito. They've really worked hard to try to make their store healthier for all families, and it's important that residents of Buellton support their smaller stores too. So please get out there and support Mi Pueblito and Parkway Market. They did not get paid to do any of these changes. It was something they wanted to do to respond to community needs. So community needs to back them up. I also had a visit from Mary from M&S Wastewater, who gave me her protocol on how they check things out. So I'll be checking this out, but oh boy.
You'll be busy.
I told her I was interested, and she came in, and it's a lot bigger than I ever thought. I also had a SB-CAG and APCD meeting, and I can pass these around. It's the Measure A annual report. It's the SB1, what the proposed funding will be for the city of Buellton from SB1, and how the SB1 transportation account flows. So if anybody's interested, I've got that. And that's it for me. Nothing else. Okay, now we have to move on to something I'm Well, we need to do it. Agenda item number 6, recognizing Councilmember John Connolly for his dedicated service to the city of Buellton. I worked with John for 6 years, and he has been very dedicated and truly, truly cares about this community. And I know with job changes and life changes that we're all fluid, and you're moving to an exciting new part of your life. So, boy, are we going to miss you.
Gonna miss you guys.
So,
Miss you guys too. Yeah, and you know, just let me go ahead and if I could just say a few words. It's not easy, you know, finding myself in this particular situation. As you all know, I'm also an officer in the Air National Guard, and the Air National Guard is a militia. Normally, many of them are weekenders, and they meet a couple weeks a year. But my involvement has exceeded that, so much to the point where I'm driving down every day to the base, which is an hour and a half away, and my family's recognized the situation, and we have decided we need to move down to Santa Barbara, and that was our only decision that we could possibly come up with. I still have 3 or 4 more years to go in the Air Force, part-time Air Force, and I do love to do that. I love to serve, and that's what I've loved to do for you, the people of Buellton. I hope that anybody who takes on this position realize it is not of the self, but it is to serve. You look at a beautiful city as this, and the wonderful people involved in it, and as it grows, everything always needs to be in check. If you just let outside developers come in and go crazy, then it goes away, and there's no control, there's no balance. And I think we've done a really good job at monitoring that and maintaining a nice steady flow and keeping the old-time town here. I believe that anybody who comes in here is walking in on an all-star cast, city council and mayor, an all-star city staff as well. So, yeah, it's with heavy heart that I do make that decision to step down. I do love my country as well as the city, and I can't serve those two at the same capacity at this juncture. So I do appreciate the support. My time with each one of you has been stellar. I can't remember one bad moment that I've had with any of you or any past council members. Absolutely fabulous group to work with. The ideas here, we didn't always see eye to eye on everything, but probably on most things I think we did, and it always moved forward. Everybody here wants the best for their city, and not so much just the best for themselves. And that's been clear, and that's been apparent. And I'll always, you know, Buellton's always in my heart. If I get my service done, I'll be able to return back to my high school and teach there at Buellton. I'll be commuting at that time, or in San Ynez. I'll be commuting at that time. But I love the Valley. I love Buellton. And it's been an absolute true honor and pleasure to have served with all of you. Thank you. Oh, I'd love to, if that's okay. Okay, please sit down. Thank you. Success.
Linda made it hard for you.
It always makes it
Okay.
special. Oh, that's a beautiful plaque. Okay, yeah. John Connolly, in recognition of your dedicated service to the Buellton City Council.
We want you to get there with
Yeah,
all
You got
the
to stand
Absolutely.
behind the seal.
Maybe I could be shaking the mayor's
There we
hand
go.
too.
Sit or stand.
John. Miss you.
I miss you too.
Well, you want to, come on, Foster?
Come on in.
Come on in.
Frank said before you move, though, which one with Jennifer?
Oh, we're going to have you guys down.
Christmas.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys very much. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you, sir,
Thank you
for all
guys.
your service.
Thank you.
All your
Thank
service.
you. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
Now, if you want
And I'm gonna go
to
sit
stick
down.
around a little bit, we're going to have cake in a minute, yeah? And a few minutes.
Excellent, thank you. Very good.
Look great on your wall.
Yeah, right. The man cave.
I'll put it on my
That's right.
desk
man
at work.
cave. There you go.
Think about that.
Salute you.
Now you can sit in the audience and watch.
Yeah, I'll get to that. Yes, I'll let it down. For it.
All righty.
Okay, never mind.
We move on to written communications.
No, ma'am?
Committee reports.
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor?
Today, the Central Coast Water Authority met at 9 a.m. in Buellton. The report we had is that on the water situation report, it has been the wettest year on record, period. The previous year was 1928, I think, where they had more rain. The snowpack has been above average, but the biggest help is that it's melting, and that's where we're going to get our residual waters to our tributaries to refill the dams. The Orville Dam has been drawn down. You probably know that a major portion of it was ruptured, and they're feverishly working on it. It's a $750 million repair. So, Californians will get a chance to reimburse the contractors. The San Luis Reservoir is close to full. It is filling, and so there's ample water there. And we used to always talk about our percent of allocation. One time, early, I think January, we were at 5% allocation. We were at 85%. So, but they're still asking people to be cautious and conserve. The arid weather is really drying out lawns, and some people think they'll just let the water run, and that's not a good thing. But we seem to be in good shape with CCWA, and happy to answer any questions, but their website will tell you as much as you need to know, places to visit if you're concerned about any issues.
Thank you.
Is that all I have?
Thank you. Any other items? I apologize. I brought up SPCAG and APCD during council member comments items. One of the items I'd like to, when we come back, if I could just swap real quick, is we purchased a property at the corner of Park and 2nd Street, and while we are not doing anything with it, and I know it's coming back for discussion, I'd like council to think about the idea of perhaps a community garden. Could be short term. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I'll do some
Yeah.
research with the city attorney as well.
Thank you. And the only other committee report, Library Advisory Committee, I went to the City of Santa Barbara City Council meeting. They were trying to raise our library fees. They were talking about an 18% increase, which was a 130% increase to what they charged us last year. And they did make a decision to leave it at 15 or 13.5%, which was halfway between the 9% they charged us last year and the 18% that they wanted to charge this year. And the County of Santa Barbara, the Board of Supervisors has gone back and allocated another $360,000 to the libraries in Santa Barbara County, with $180,000 of that going to per capita. So Buellton should see some of that. And we're still trying to figure out what the other $180,000 is. That was that. Okay, any other committee reports?
May I ask if, I thought on that community garden issue, I thought we were going to, last time we talked about that, or that lot in particular, we were going to have a workshop in some fashion, and Cosmo was going to get involved.
I was still
We are.
going to do that, but in
We
the
are.
interim, we can put in
We are. I just
a
wanted
garden.
that
Yeah,
added
we're
to
not, it's
one of
it's
the
not permanent, just
one of the
something.
Yeah,
concepts.
sure, absolutely.
One of the concepts.
Copy, yeah, for sure.
That was, yeah. Alrighty, no other committee reports. Now we get on to our big business item, item number 7, interview and possible appointment to fill city council seat. Ms. Reed.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. We are doing this again. We did it a couple of months ago, and here we are back. At the council meeting of May 25th, the council agreed to accept applications until June 14th to fill Councilmember Connolly's vacant seat until December of 2018. The seat was appropriately advertised in the local newspaper and at City Hall on the website, and staff received applications from 4 residents. That would be Art Mercado, Efren Polito, Shannon Sadecki, and Marcelo Sakia. On June 20th, Marcelo withdrew his application, indicating that he needed to devote more time to the Buellton School District. If an applicant is chosen tonight, the person will be sworn in prior to the July 13th council meeting, and the appointment term will expire on December 13th of 2018. Staff recommends that council conduct applicant interviews and consider appointment to fill the vacant seat, and again, this can be done by nomination process. That concludes the staff report, and we're available if there's any questions.
Thank you very much. What I thought I'd do, if it's okay with council, is bring up each applicant in the order that we've got them listed here, and have them just let us know their reasons for wanting to be on city council, and what they, just a brief biography or whatever they want to talk about for a couple minutes, and then answer questions. And when we're done with the 3 applicants, then we'll go back for discussion and possible appointment. With that, Art Mercado is the first one on our list. If you'd please step up, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair, or Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Art Mercado, a resident of Buellton for over 22 years, a resident for the Valley of over nearly 40 years. I've been a planning commissioner for over 8 years, and this is my actual 3rd term to be chair of the commission. Thoroughly enjoyed myself at the time doing this, and this is kind of a natural progression when the opportunity came upon to look at this, and I really believe that I bring an open mind to the situations that I've learned on the planning commission, and one thing I've really learned is that going to the League of City Academy for the planning commission is that you learn a lot about what's going on, not just in the planning side, but in the city side of this. And you learn that Buellton is a great town. And as soon as people know that you are from Buellton, they realize, God, it's a great area. You've got wines, you've got this, you got that, you have the horses, and you're proud to be a member of Buellton. And probably the best thing is that they realize it's a well-run town. And we've had numerous opportunities over the years to move back to San Ynez or to another ranch or whatever, but my wife and I really enjoy Buellton. Our kids have been here. We've owned our home. It's in a trust. The kids are going to get it, and they want to stay here. My daughter, 4 years ago, moved back from LA. She's a medical ICU nurse at Big Santa Barbara Cottage, but she worked at UCLA Medical Center, and she was able to come home, and she enjoys coming home. So I think it's a great opportunity. So I'm looking forward to if I get appointed.
Thank you very much.
Questions?
Questions?
Do we want to do that after we get everybody, or I think that's how we did it before, right? Or no? Could be wrong.
I'll defer to y'all.
Okay. Well, I thought we could do questions
okay.
and ask the same of each applicant if you
Yeah,
have
fine.
questions. That way we're not.
Perfect.
Go
You
ahead.
want me to go first?
Why don't you go first?
I just have 3 questions here that are kind of important. Or what do you think the direction of Buellton should go, or what direction you think Buellton should go regarding development? Give me some examples.
After being on the planning commissioner, I've seen some of our good projects that are coming on board right now, and they're creative. I think that the city will benefit from that, and so I think we're looking forward to that. I think you have to have a controlled growth pattern, but having lived in the valley since 1972 and remembering that we used to live at Meadowlark Ranches over there by the airport, you could travel from there to High Oak Feed Store, which is actually the car wash today, in 25 minutes. Today you can't even get through Solvang in 25 minutes. So that's good and bad. There's more things to do, and I'm nearly 60, and I think the things that are coming on board right now are going to be positive things for the city.
Howard, what do you think you can bring to the table with Buellton's finances, such as like cutting cost and?
I've developed large farms, small farms in California, Kentucky, and Texas. We have to budget. I mean, the horse industry and the farming industry today is terrible. You look at things and you have to make sharp cuts every now and then, but you have to also realize that you're a service industry. And in those businesses, you've got customers who are like Sheikh Mohammed from Dubai down to mom and pop. And you have to treat them all accordingly. And I've been able to do that. And, you know, you have to look at things from both sides. You know, what's the benefit? What are we going to gain from this? Sometimes you have to say, okay, you know, it might be a certain percent, but is it going to be big enough to go forward and keep growing? So I think I look at things from that aspect, and I don't have a problem making tough decisions. It has to be made, and that's life.
Okay. Other than being on planning commission, how do you think that your life experiences would make you a good council member?
I've been on, I'm on the boosters, football boosters. I've also been the president of Santa's Thoroughbred Association. I've dealt with some certain committees in the thoroughbred industry. That's been my big career. Like I said, I think I bring an open mind and very conciliatory. I can work together with a lot of people, and there's always a lot of different factions in the horse industry. And what you have to do is just get the insight from everybody and make a smart decision and see where it leads you to.
That's it for me.
Okay. Foster, did you have any questions?
I know Art almost a decade. I don't have any questions.
Vice Mayor Andrasik, any questions for you?
I just, I think he's already covered it, but the planning doesn't just start at the council. It actually starts at the planning commission and staff. You know, the way projects come to the city are molded together and accepted by city government, which is the council, then received by the community. And I think we have an open dialogue. People, I've never known anyone to shy away from telling us how they feel about things, and we've had good positive results on just about everything. You're never going to have 100%, but I think that's a great ascension, and I appreciate you staying with it and being involved. That's I think the strength of you know, when we go looking for staff members, we don't look for someone that's looking for a job. We look for people that have been in the position that that we're looking for. We look for managers, and we look for city manager. We look for public works people that have knowledge of public works, not just someone that's willing to try. And that, I think, is that's what's made the transition as well for Foster and the other folks that have come that route. There are many ways to get there, but it seems like a good ascension rate, and I appreciate you putting your application in.
Okay. I had two questions for you. One of them, in the next, hopefully 6 months, we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty on Avenue of Flags. And I'm just curious, I know we have the city viewpoint, but I'd be curious what your personal, what you'd like to see on Avenue of Flags.
Well, I think it's a natural progression. I think we need to have growth there. It just has to be done in the right way, and I think you have to have everybody on board, because if everybody doesn't get on board, it's going to be piecemeal. And I think, like we all agree, no one's going to be 100% happy, but it comes down to what the number of positives that you get from it. And I've been on numerous committees for the planning of the Avenue of Flags, and heard a lot of different comments on how things can work and where we go for it. From the planning stage, when we looked at the drawings from Cal Poly, some of them were very workable, others were just their dreams. And in today's economy, it's not going to happen. And so we have to find out what's going to be economically feasible for not only the property owners, but for the city of Buellton.
Okay, thank you. One last question. When you look around the city and you see, I mean, the city of Buellton has grown and developed, and we're turning into this, well, we've always been an amazing community, but it's certainly expanding. Do you see any do-overs? If you could look at any project, and I wish I could do this over, I'm just curious.
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, traffic is always going to be a problem, but the number of years that I was down in LA, this is nothing. But then you fight traffic at 4 o'clock in the morning going to the racetrack. This is nothing in comparison to that. And so you see things, and it's a good city. Like I said, both my children are raised here. They went to San Ynez High School and graduated, and they love it here. Like I said, my daughter's able to come home. My son is at Cal Poly and still loves to come home. So it's a good area, and this is where his family and friends are. So I think that's important, and it's an area that is on the upswing. We have a lot of good things in the pipeline right now, and I think that just helps the cities. But the main job of the city is to protect and serve, and we have to remember that. And how you do that is through constructive projects that help the city and help the citizens of Buellton.
Thank you very much.
Can I have a follow-up question?
Certainly.
Notwithstanding any visioning or anything that's been going on with Avenue Flags, what do you want to see there?
In some of the things that we passed on to the city, I think the medians, if they're done right, I think they could be a big boon. Like I said, having traveled with the horse industry to New York and Kentucky and so forth, and you see different things, and you're still agriculture, but you still have to have things that bring other people to it, and like the art barn. And I thoroughly enjoy Western art. I like to go to Scottsdale, and I like going to the Cattlemen's up in Paso Robles. And those are great events. They're low key, but you get really nice people who come and support what's going on in that little event. And those are the type of people that the tourists that you like to have coming into a city like Buellton, because they're there for 2 or 3 days. They want to have a good meal, travel, go through Solvang, come back and enjoy things. And I think that's what Avenue Flags needs to become, something like very similar to something like that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Art.
Alrighty, our next candidate, Efren Pulido. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Mayor and council members. You guys can hear me okay, right?
Mhm.
Yes. Just came back from baseball, so I was at UCSB, so my sugar's a little low. Kids all star baseball. So I'm doing this because I have 4 children. My wife's a school teacher at Oak Valley. I grew up here in the valley, Solvang mostly, and I just want to make sure that the integrity of Buellton and our valley stays pure, and we don't overgrow, and we do grow progressively. I also want to make sure there's a lot more contingencies in Buellton, emergency responses and emergencies that could happen. An example of one that I've always been thinking about since I was a little kid: what if 3 trees fell down going to Solvang? How are we supposed to get to Solvang? What if people are stuck there? We have that back road that goes through the river. We can always have a I know I hear this stuff about this multi-use road, the bicycle tracks and stuff like that. But we could also use it as a contingency for fires and stuff like that. Easy access points like Gardner Ranch and the other ranch down by Beale Flat Rock. Stuff like that. But just efficiencies, that's what I could bring to the table. Emergency response and contingency plans. Also effectiveness with horticulture. My whole family's been doing stuff like that, and I was talking to my father today at lunch, and you guys spoke a little bit about the Avenue of Flags. I would be very curious to know how much money we spend on watering the medians every year? How much money do we spend on the maintenance of the medians? Has anybody thought about any xeriscaping on the 246? How much money do we spend there? Other efficiencies that I see that we could maybe work on more. I'm not saying that we don't have them, but stuff for children, for kids. We do have a lot of popularity contests on wine and beer and hotels, but there's no mention of any parks for kids, or even the park at the river park. You can't really go over there and hit baseballs or have a big party down there. Just some of the efficiencies. I just want to have a city for us, the people who live here. We can cater to people coming through. That's great. We are a highway city. And I'll touch a little bit more on the questions that I already know are coming, so that I just heard. So those are some of the things that I could bring. I'm a concerned parent, husband, and citizen of Buellton.
Thank you very much. Did you want to ask your question?
Yeah, I'll just ask you the same thing. What do you think the direction of Buellton should go, or how do you think the direction of Buellton should go regarding development?
Development, it's here. There's no real, it's here. It's already been done. The whole 246, it's pretty built up. We have Burger King. We have the whole Panda Express, Starbucks. It's kind of congested, that area. I live in Thumbelina. I know that the other members are also living in Thumbelina, and I know they feel our pain, and I'm sure they're thinking the same thing. Where is our segue points? Where can we have a way of getting out of there if something were to happen in that area? There's no real easement through there. Is there going to be an easement? Is there going to be an easement to the park? Is there going to be an easement for us to exit out of there? If we're stuck at some point.
Yeah, there's a walkway. There won't be a drive-through.
Right. So those are just some of the things that we have to think about in the future. I think that the Avenue of Flags is a perfect place to concentrate some of our traffic, because it has perfect points on and off the 101. There's no better place to put anything. I think those commercial places would be better situated on Avenue of the Flags. If we could get the momentum from the owners of those buildings in that area, it's wide enough, it's big enough, it can support that traffic. I know that the 246 by the Burger King and Starbucks and all that area, that's just a congestion point. There's four streets feeding into one, and also feeding into other cities. We're feeding to Solvang, Lompoc, and to the 101. So here on the Avenue of Flags, there's no better place than to develop and have an argument to move places.
Okay. What can you bring to the council regarding finances?
Finances, always finding effective and efficient ways to try to save money and put towards to other things like parks and events for kids. Avenue of the Flags, again, creative ideas like using those medians for concerts. Like I said, it's got great points coming in and out. You could have concerts, you could have other events like, kids marathons or anything. You could have nights where you have golf carts or go-karts going around that place or something in the medians for kids. We just don't have to always cater to alcohol. We can be a little bit more creative and be a model city without all that stuff. That's all around us. Also trails for horses all through here. Santa Rosa Road is not even used. Our riverbed is not used. We can't even use it. So I think we could be a model city and have everybody going out, walking their dogs on a road that can also be used for a contingency for an emergency. And helicopters or a pad or something for that out there too that could be easy to be budgeted in putting in a road.
So And the last one, how do you think your life experience will make you a good council member?
Oh, life experience. Where do I start? I've been all over the world. Like I said, I grew up here. I was in the Marine Corps for 8 years. I was in the federal government for the last 8 years as well. Now I'm a real estate agent. Father of 4 kids. I've done a lot of crazy things, and I've been to every zone that you could be to: peace, war, tsunami, whatever. I've been to every type, from Sri Lanka, Iraq, to hanging out in Thailand. I've been to all the big cities, and I've always seen the contingency plan. What can you do for an emergency in this type of scenario? What do we need to build up? What do we need to have? Like the Red Cross trailers that we used to have here. What are we going to do if there's power outage? Do we have generators here in this city? Does everybody know where the generators are? Do we have any generators hooked up to any wells that we have here in our riverbed that would be able to facilitate water for people? If we have a big emergency, what are we going to do? I mean, we have an Albertsons, great, but food's going to run out. Those are just little things that, contingency plans that we could do. Do we have MREs? Do we have a plan with Vandenberg? Do they come over here? Like you said, there's going to be a rocket going up. Do we have a plan if one of those rockets comes and lands in this area? And I'm not trying to make anybody scared or that I'm just thinking about the negative. I'm just saying that those are some of the things I could bring as well. Think outside the box, and be efficient and be effective and be ready and always have a plan.
And I think you already answered my last question.
Thank you. Any questions from you two?
I think you talked a little bit about growth, but considering the Avenue Flags is before us, I'm going to try to be very precise. What do you feel are your red lines in regards to development, specifically on the Avenue Flags?
Red lines, be more specific.
What would you feel is out of bounds?
Oh, what's out of bounds?
Sure.
If you're not going to do it in front of your mom or your dad.
No, I mean
Those are my red
development
lines.
So like you talked a lot about not being pro, against say alcohol or specific. We don't get to say about what gets developed, right? So we get to essentially put out guidelines.
Right. So a little bit back to if you're going to do it in front of your mom or dad type thing, or God, obviously we don't want any I'm just going to say it out there. Just any adult type. How do you say? Yeah, strip club. There you go.
Strip club.
Those are the type
That
things.
would be bad.
I know everybody's going to giggle and laugh, but that I don't want that here. Bars. You could have a bar. You could have but how many more bars do we need? How many more alcohol venues do we need here? But they are what brings people around. But I'm not against anything if it has a plan and it has a.
So like a 3-story building.
3-story building. If you have to do a little bit of research on that too. You have to have your. If it has apartments, does it have revenue for the city? Does it have? It could be a 3-story youth center. You can't be against everything. It could be a 3-story church. It could be a 3-story anything. It could be a multi-purpose gym with basketball court on the top floor. Are you going to say no to a gym and a daycare center for kids and maybe a business center on the bottom? There's a lot of things you got to measure out, and you got to obviously coordinate and come together and make those type of decisions. It's not just my decision.
Yeah. Okay. I don't have more questions. I want to publicly thank Efren on the campaign trail. I used bathroom twice. And if you've been campaigning, bathrooms are a huge deal. And thanks for your service, man.
Awesome. Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Any questions from you?
Nope.
And you talked about Avenue of Flags. For me, I guess I'm going to ask the question that everybody's cringing over. If you look around town and you see anything that you would change that's been done.
Oh, what I would change?
A do-over. A do-over.
A do-over. Without hurting anybody's feelings here in the building.
No feelings hurt.
I think that the placement of some of the commercial buildings, not commercial, but commercial businesses, could have been used on Avenue of the Flags. Could have been maybe a little bit more patient and put them over on Avenue of the Flags, like a Starbucks or a Habit or Panda Express.
Thank you very much. Anything else?
Did you visit
Appreciate
the
the
Emperor's
input.
Palace in Thailand?
I don't recall, put it that way. I was in the Marine Corps at the time, 20-something years old.
I've been there. It's pretty cool.
It is awesome.
Thank you
You
very
went there, just to say yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
Thank you very
Good
much.
answer.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Shannon Sadecki, please step up.
Madam Mayor and Council, good evening, and thank you for this opportunity. Essentially, Buellton is my home, and Buellton's been my home for the past 28 years, and I want to help maintain the character of a place I've been fortunate enough to call my home for the past 28 years. My parents moved here when I was 5. And I went to Honda Elementary School when it was Honda, before it was Oak Valley, when it was K through 8, and attended there. And I've seen many changes over the years. And I think that now that I've chosen to purchase my home here and raise my family of my own, I have a stronger sense of pride in my community. I'm vested here in Buellton. As an environmental studies and urban planning and development major, I feel that I have time and talent that I can offer as my service to the city of Buellton now. I think that there's been a resurgence of young families moving to Buellton. I think for essentially the affordability, housing affordability, the prime proximity to North and South County, or smack in the middle, freeway accessibility, but most importantly to me and to many young families is the small town feel. And it truly has that charm and character that you can't get anywhere else. I have the ability to make unbiased, effective, and efficient decisions on a solution-based team. I've been a union representative for my school district. I've been a teacher for 11 years, high school teacher for 11 years. And I think negotiation and compromise is a daily skill I've honed with high school students. I've received an American Planning Association scholarship for the state of California in 2006. And I have a strong passion for my environment and sustainable growth. And I'd like to put that to work here in a place that I have a great deal of pride.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You want to start?
So now that you've heard the questions, I'm going to switch them up.
Shoot.
Reordering
Tricky, huh?
the user.
Tricky,
The
huh?
reordering. It's like the SAT.
I choose C.
So tell me about development. What would you do with development in Buellton? What do you feel about the direction that Buellton should go with development?
Like I said, I do value the small town feel, so I think that we need to, at some point, put a cap on growth. However, we are expanding. And I think sustainable growth paired with economic vitality, we have to find that balance. We want to have a good quality of life for our citizens here without overdoing it. And I think that the examples were brought up several times by my other two constituents that, the circulation and traffic is getting more and more congested. However, we are growing, so we do need to find solutions and keep all of that in mind.
And what do you think you could bring financially for financial decisions for the city?
I think it's essential to remain financially conservative. I would take a more frugal standpoint, all while trying to maintain that good quality of life for our citizens. Because you don't want a city that's in the red by any means. I think that that is a huge selling point for the city of Buellton. And it has been for many years, and that's kudos to all of you guys on the board, because it's a task, and you guys have done well, and I'd love to be part of that and maintain that.
And what are your life experiences? What would that do to bring to make you a good council member?
I think I stated before that I have. I've worked for 11 years with at-risk youth. I've spearheaded several new programs and even schools within the Santa Barbara School District for at-risk youth. I've been our union representative for 4 years with many hours of negotiations from both sides. You have to, I think that's been my biggest learning point as a teacher, even as a union representative, to keep that fine balance and to maintain integrity and to be able to listen. It's a skill, and to weigh out all your advantages and disadvantages, and to come up with the best decision for the good of the whole. And you're not going to make everybody happy in every situation, but the main goal is to find that balance in that median where the majority of people are happy.
And I'll ask you this question too. Notwithstanding anything that's gone on over the last 10 years on Avenue of Flags, what do you see for the Avenue?
What do I see? Can you repeat that?
What do you see for the avenue? Notwithstanding all this planning and visioning and all this that's
30
going
years?
on. Well,
30
probably
years
just
of
30
planning?
years, 10 years I can remember.
Well, I mean, I have a toddler myself, and I think that Efren hit on a lot of those points that we do need more recreation for our youth here. As a young individual raising a family here, I have that perspective, and I want to be that platform for families to be able to voice their concerns and feel that they're being considered. That said, I think that the bike path, I mean, we have a 6-mile radius. It's very doable to have an essentially walkable, bikeable community. And I think putting that bike path in for kids is going to be a great asset for families. I see a lot of recreation. I know the city of Solvang does concerts in the park, movies in the park. I think that median needs a little bit of that. We need mixed retail. I would love to see it be a booming central location for families to come and congregate and enjoy their leisure time, spend money, increase the economic vitality of Buellton. I know that that may be a pipe dream, but I think that we need to reach for something of mixed use for everybody, and I think that that's doable.
Can I follow up on that?
Absolutely.
So let me ask you, if you were king of the world, what would you put on Avenue Flag? Queen of the world.
On the medians, or
No.
are we talking?
What would you like to see Avenue of Flags turn into?
I think I would like to see it turn into something along the lines of a small State Street, because I see people of all walks of life, ages, utilizing that space and enjoying that space. And even if they are just walking the area, it is enjoyable. You don't necessarily have to spend money to be walking about and enjoying your community and the people within your community.
Okay,
That's it.
that's it.
Any questions, gentlemen?
Shannon, you have a vocation, you're a teacher, so that's a career, and yet you have the capacity to be a consultant for development, or, am I right, planning consultant or planning and development?
I had received in 2006 for the state of California an American Planning Association scholarship.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if maybe you were doing contract planning or services.
I am not, but I do have the ability to, yes.
Okay, that's what I was just going to ask, if you were doing those two things.
Yes. I received a master's in education, but that is my
Right,
major and minor.
okay, thank you.
That's a big difference. Go ahead.
I got one question. So maybe could you outline, maybe and give an example, your feeling on forming consensus and what it's like to be on the losing side?
I think that being on the losing side is a skill that you have to learn to take graciously. That is for sure. I don't think anyone wants to be on the losing side. However, when you come to a consensus, I hope that nobody would feel like they completely lost. And I think that that's the goal. If, like I said, you're not going to make everyone happy, but no one should feel like they've completely lost. And with that said, I think that I would work tirelessly to listen to the community, hold studies, workshops, to get everyone's input so they really feel like they have been heard, and if not heard, take their opinions taken into consideration.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Well, you've already talked about Avenue of Flags. I guess mine is the do-over question.
I sat there and thought about this for a long time. I love the city of Buellton, and I can truly say I would not have a do-over on anything. I would be proud to have sat on the council for any of the decisions made. And I think it's a phenomenal place to live. So no, I couldn't. It is. I couldn't think of one.
It is. Okay. No other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are filling a little over a 2-year position. Is that correct?
About a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Year and a half.
Okay, year and a half. Not a 2.5. Okay, year and a half. That's right.
Same cycle as mine, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Same cycle as mine.
Same cycle.
Yeah,
I'm not
there's-
campaigning again.
There'll be 4 of you. Foster's the only one that will sit out in 18.
Yes.
Okay, and we need to
Yes,
work on
campaign,
that
it's a
too
pass.
before we
Yeah.
get there. I appreciate all the applicants coming in for being willing to sit up here and work hard for their community, because it's certainly not as easy as it looks. There's a lot of different voices in this community, and it's imperative that we try to represent our community to the best of our ability. And this is going to be a really, really difficult decision, because we've got 3 incredibly well-qualified applicants. And that said, this isn't going to be an easy decision. My only consolation, if there is any, is that at the moment there's a vacancy on the Planning Commission, and if anybody does not get selected tonight, please consider the Planning Commission, because we really need people who are committed to our community. So, thank you. All righty, gentlemen.
Madam Mayor, given in fact, today's paper shows that we have another planning commission, Commissioner Morgan McLaughlin is in today's news press that she is leaving. She's leaving our planning commission. The tenure, and I feel, I still feel the way that the way the city flows and operates, I think it would streamline this year and a half. It's a year and a half transition. I think that it would be very hard for someone that had not served on the Planning Commission to get up to speed, or that would have understood the process that how the city is molded together. We are capable of operating all of the functions of the city, and we're proving it through our developments. Some are working better than others. With that, I would enter Art Mercado's name for selection for this 17-month period that I'm sorry, not 17 months, a 15-month, no, it is 17 months period for finishing up. I think when Dave came on, he stepped right in. He's been on the council before. This would be something that none of these 3 have been exposed to. So that'd be my recommendation, or ask for consideration.
Okay, that's a motion then?
Yes, ma'am.
We don't need a motion or a second.
Don't
It's
need a
just-
motion.
Just a nomination, and then you
Consideration.
can vote on that.
And a vote.
Can I make a comment or two?
Please.
This is tough. Y'all are all extremely qualified. Efren, your energy and appreciation and preparedness comments is pretty stellar. And Shannon, I'll comment that your eloquence is quite good, and you're clearly qualified technically. So that being said, I know Art like a decade, and we got a lot of stuff coming before us that he is intimately familiar with. I mean, he's been with me through all the avenue flags, all the planning, all the stuff that's about to hit us. And I think if he wasn't there, this would be way more difficult. Not that it wasn't difficult, but I don't want to take away from y'all, because this is much harder for me this round than it was the last round. So take that for what it is. Yeah, so I'll agree with that. And seriously though, as a guy, I think both of you guys would rock it, so to speak, on the Planning Commission. I think, everything you talked about, both of y'all would dovetail nicely right with the Planning Commission. Like, I think that most of the stuff you guys are talking about is very Planning Commission-y. And then you could, decide you want to campaign and walk 35 miles through the city and go door to door, and But anyway, please, anyway, I appreciate y'all's effort and willingness to do all this and stand up, and that goes a long way too. So anyway, thank you guys.
Did you want to make any comment before I make mine?
No.
Okay. Well, my only concern is that we have a vacancy on the Planning Commission right now with Morgan's resignation, and while Art is eminently qualified to step in here, I'm concerned that there's a lot of stuff going on in the Planning Commission as well, and that leaves 2 vacancies there. So I will go once again with majority, and if Art does come up here, all 3 are qualified, that I truly hope that the 2 of you will seriously consider Planning Commission, seriously.
And we'll get the notice out ASAP.
That would be
if
filled
that
in
occurs.
July?
Yeah, it's going to go to the paper tomorrow, and I think we thought we'd take applications till the middle of July and appoint, you guys would appoint those, if there's 2 positions, 1 or 2, at the meeting on the 27th of July.
Okay.
And that should tie in with the projects we have coming in, so.
Okay. We've got so much going on in this city, and I recognize that the city council, I believe, is truly the most important. I mean, the planning commission is a very close second, though. So
We'll have it on the website tomorrow, the application.
And that's kind of my concern too, that now that we may be down to planning people that, and especially Art being very intimate in what's going on with planning.
Yeah.
What's your feelings on that?
So my only argument on that is, so this is much more, as a guy that's been doing this, I guess, not as here, not as long, but at least I got a good, somewhat of a good idea. I'm not near experienced as some of my fellow council members or the mayor. But this is very operational and strategic, if you will, if you want to break it down. So this is more like overarching, you know, all this kind of flows down, where the planning is you're kind of in the weeds and you're approving new projects and analyzing that based on what the code is and et cetera, et cetera. So that's more based on like, okay, well, this is the project before me today. It's important that I have some background and some knowledge and whatnot on say, the genesis or some of the stuff that relates to it, but you know, I think that as new projects come in, you know, you get more and more seasoned. Where here, it's much more. It's better to have a seasoning when you enter, if that makes sense. So my argument would be moving, taking Art here after he understands all the inner dynamics of how to be a commission, which is a big part of the battle. Understanding all the plans and parts, how it all fits together. He's got a background, all that. That seems very logical. Where some of these other applicants, like if they did, please, hope so, join the planning commission, would dovetail into new projects, having their stamp on the new projects, adding new vigor to the new projects, approving the new projects as they come in. So you know, so say we approve the Avenue of the Flags piece, right? You guys would still be a stamp of approval for what actually goes in project by project, right? So while we are going to say, okay, well, this will be zoned for this, you know, this will be this overarching plan and where the money's going to be generally spent. Y'all get to decide. Well, no joke. Do I want that project here? Do I want this project here? Does it fit within the code? Does this fit with what I think? And I think that stuff is equally important, just on a different spectrum of the playing field. And so I would argue that it's time to. Art's got all the background. It's, you know, let's bring him up here while we get through all the nasty stuff, if you will. And we need to have qualified people being able to make decisions good for the city to actually implement and get stuff on the ground. And I think, if they apply, I think this would mesh well. So.
And if we do appoint on the 27th, I will have full commission in August when the Avenue specific plan comes forward. So we won't miss a beat as far as getting the other 2 up to speed, whoever's appointed.
All righty. So is this consensus then for Art Mercado?
I think so, even without Dave. But I think Dave. I think the 3 of us were good. I don't want to leave you out though, Dave.
No, I'm just going to abstain.
Okay.
So there are 3.
I think we should do a roll call,
Okay.
Madam Mayor.
Okay.
Okay, Vice Mayor Andrusik.
Aye.
Councilmember King.
Abstain.
Councilmember Rife.
Aye. And
Mayor Zero.
Hi. All righty. Congratulations,
Thank you both.
Mr. Mercado. And please, Shannon, Efren,
Please.
please.
Please, I would, yes. I
City
would.
needs you.
We really do need committed, and there's a lot of stuff going on.
Can I use the
And-
application that I took alongside the right?
Yes.
All right.
There you go.
You have to reapply though. There's going to be a new application on the website tomorrow. So You'll have to just
Yeah.
cut and paste.
Please,
Okay?
please,
Okay.
please.
Thank you, Efren. Thank you.
All righty, city manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's with another sad heart that I'd like to announce that this is Carolyn's last council meeting, and tomorrow is her last day before she goes into retirement. And I want to thank her for her service. It was one of my best decisions, hiring decisions I've ever made to get her on board. She stabilized our finance department, and she's leaving it in a great shape for our new finance director, Chanel. She's done the biannual budget now at the direction of council. We've won awards on our CAFR and our budget under her direction. She also could have retired 6 months ago, but she stayed on another 6 months to make sure the finance department was in the shape it was in, so I want to really thank her for that. That was beyond the call of duty for us, and I really appreciate that. And I'm going to miss her, and all the staff's going to miss her, and I'm going to turn it over to Holly, who has a little presentation and gift for you as well.
Before I get to that, I really would like to thank you. You joined us at a very difficult time in the city's finance history. We were getting ready to move over to a new program. We had people who weren't sure what was going on, and you stepped in like you'd been there for 5 years already and put everything in line. So I just personally want to thank you very much for what you've done for our city.
Thank you so much.
Ask her for the passwords, please.
I'm going to turn them all in tomorrow.
All right, you want to have anything
Thanks.
to say?
Oh, I think Chanel is going to do great, and that was really my goal many years into my job. I kept thinking, I've got to think of the future, and because this city is just such a beautiful city, and the residents were really friendly, and the businesses are thriving, and then council's enthusiastic, and staff worked hard. So I loved what I was doing. So I know Chanel is going to take the city to new heights financially. I know that's going to happen with your help.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
A little present for you, and then we'll take your picture too. Yes, please. Come on over.
We're efficient. Perfect size bag to fit that.
Who does
Find
this?
it again.
Yeah, hard to get out.
It's like sticking it. It's like a magnet.
It won't come out.
There it is. You did a good job on that one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, happy day.
Was this John? You can get up there too, because you were a part of that with Carolyn.
Step on up,
too.
Mr. Connolly.
Yeah. You got room?
Oh,
You got
thank you. I love clocks. And as long as it doesn't have an alarm.
No
alarm.
No alarm.
No alarm.
Step on in, let's get a quick picture. Thank you.
Please apply.
Thank you. Right in the middle.
Shoot me an email if
Right
you have a
under the
question.
seal.
Okay.
There we go.
Bye.
Very good.
Not that
Congratulations. You answered all my questions.
Take care, Carolyn.
Thank you so much.
She's got one more day too. Alrighty, so we're going to have cake and refreshments if you want to stick around. But before, right after, we're going to go into closed session. Mr. McEwen.
Announcement. Item number 9 is closed session, conference with legal counsel, initiation of litigation involving 2 cases under Government Code Section 54956.9, subdivision D4.
Thank you very much. Alrighty, a quick break before closed session.